Coming up on Nuestra Voz Today, they are known as Los Desaparecidos, those who have vanished without a trace.
These mothers, their hearts are broken for life. And there's not one, it's not 100, they're not 1,000. There are thousands of missing sons.
The latest government figures show more than 79,000 people have gone missing in Mexico. Desperate and heartbroken, family members are now banding together to find their missing loved ones.
Plus, Fernando Mania, 40 years later, we know him as an all-time great Dodgers pitcher. Find out where Fernando Valenzuela's humble roots began.
And decades later, another Fernando is taking Major League Baseball by storm. See how Fernando Tatis Jr. is electrifying fans of all ages.
Also, we'll introduce you to the sobaquera burrito and show you why the sobaquera from El Ruso in LA's Boyle Heights is getting rave reviews. Hi everyone, hola, I'm Paola Hernández-Jiao.
And I'm Luis Cruz. Thank you for joining us for Nuestra Voz Today, presented by the San Diego Union-Tribune and the Los Angeles Times.
We begin today with tens of thousands of people who have gone missing in Mexico. Their numbers are larger than entire populations of such California cities as Redlands, Davis, or Lake Elsinore.
San Diego Union-Tribune reporter Wendy Fry spent months with parents and family members who are pressuring the Mexican government to help them investigate, locate, and excavate mass grave sites maintained mostly by powerful drug cartels.
Justicia! Justicia! Justicia!
2 años largos, no dormir, casi no comer, no estar concentrada en las cosas mías, en mis otros hijos. Entonces, a veces sí quiero decir basta, pero algo de mí me dice no, tienes que seguir. No te me des por vencida, me vas a encontrar.
We have almost 80,000 people missing in Mexico.
But if the Barbara's son is not there, where is Barbara's son? These mothers, their hearts are broken for life. And there's not one, it's not 100, they're not 1,000. There are thousands of missing sons, brothers.
Tijuana is this sprawling metropolis of 2.1 million people. This border city south of San Diego has historically been a major battleground for powerful drug cartels fighting to secure trafficking routes into the United States. But now there's a different kind of fight that's driving up homicides at an unrelenting pace. While the tourist zones have remained largely unscathed, forgotten neighborhoods on the outskirts of the city is where low-level drug dealers fight and die for the right to sell street corner drugs to a local market.
They kidnapping underage or young kids. They don't have a chance because there's no good schools, there's no good jobs. So when these criminals come and they offer a salary, a decent salary, they right away think of their families. They're gonna get fed, they're gonna get clothes, you know. They don't think about their lives. They're gonna get killed.
In Baja California, 1,700 people have been killed this year, many gunned down and left out in the street. But hundreds of others have simply disappeared. Officials say 1,281 people from Baja California are missing, leaving their families without answers. Mothers like Barbara Martinez form collectives and make searching for their missing children their sole mission in life.
Pues mi hijo cuando era un niño le fascinaba el fútbol. Le fascinaba el fútbol, estaba en varios equipos de fútbol. Muy risueño, carismático, siempre cuidando a sus hermanos. Era buen niño. Sí, ahí vivíamos. Cuando él desaparece, pues yo no me encontraba en la casa. Le hablé por teléfono, nunca me contestó. Voy para la casa y me dicen amigos de él que se lo habían llevado. Se lo llevaron y ya desde ahí ya no supe más de mi hijo.
Barbara says Cesar, then a 17-year-old, was inside the family residence in the Urbivilla neighborhood of Tijuana. She says friends and neighbors told her people came inside the home and took Cesar from his bedroom. Though she doesn't know exactly who took her son, she believes it was likely local drug traffickers. Police will only say that the case is under investigation. After she reported it, Barbara says she didn't believe authorities were searching for her son, so she started looking herself.
At one point during the parents' search at Casa Campos, Baja California state police officers came onto the property threatening to arrest the parents for being there. They said their search constituted trespassing, and they took pictures of everyone on the property and wrote down the license plate numbers of those who were there, including journalists. The disappearances don't just affect people in Mexico. We spoke to parents from San Diego and Los Angeles who've had to relocate to Tijuana to search for their missing kids. In Hesperia, in San Bernardino County, not a day goes by that Jesse Barajas doesn't think about his brother.
Jesse says neighbors saw 2 white trucks pull up to his brother's ranch in Tecate. They later found evidence of a gun battle and claw marks on the ground, as if someone had clawed and grasped at the dirt to not be taken away.
Tolano, Jesse's brother, was 39 when he was taken from his home in April 2019. Jesse says, like in many cases, authorities don't have any answers.
They don't have it. If I go right now to the Fiscalia and ask questions about it, they don't have no answers for me. They will have a bunch of excuses. It's not the same as in answers. They have a bunch of excuses. I'm not gonna be in the mood to be listening to them, you know, because I already have my pain. I already have to deal with the pain of where's my brother, what is he doing, or what are they doing to him? It's a thing that you live day by day. It's a thing that you wake up in the middle of the night having a sweat dreams of you know, you're dreaming that they're doing something to your loved one.
In December, Jesse joined other collectives on a 2-week search across Baja California. They first met here at the state government offices. They picked an area known to locals for suspicious activity. Several corpses had already been found there on prior searches.
No se vino Pablo ni Tolanito de la comisión. Encontramos el...
On the first day of the search, the parent collectives and officials found human remains.
De hecho, encontramos ese largo la comisión.
Siempre manda su gente, no nos dividimos, siempre...
We have almost 80,000 people missing in Mexico as of 1964, but most of them, probably 95% of them, have been missing or went missing as of 2006. So we have almost 80,000 people. The big crisis we have in Mexico about the disappearance, we still have thousands of people missing.
The search groups been forgotten, for say, they're not been taken seriously, and finally they figured out that the problem is getting big and we need help.
During the month we were making this special report, Barbara Martinez's other son, Cesar's brother, also went missing. 17-year-old Esteban Uriel Rico de la Cerda is seen here in September looking for the remains of his lost brother in that abandoned home in Tijuana. Now Esteban has not been seen since December 3rd. As for Barbara, she started the process all over again of searching for another missing son.
To watch Wendy Fry's entire report and read more on the efforts of parents and relatives searching for their missing loved ones, log on to San Diego Union-Tribune.com.
Coming up, Fernando Mania, then and now. First, we'll take you back to Fernando Valenzuela's impossible rise in Major League Baseball.
Then we'll show you why the Padres' Fernando Tatis Jr. is leaving a lasting impact on the next generation of fans. when Nuestra Voz Today returns. San Diegans accomplish great things every day. We care about our neighbors and our community. We are proud of our diversity. We are resilient. We hold our leaders accountable. We live in one of the most dynamic cities in America, the San Diego Union-Tribune, telling San Diego's story for more than 150 years.
Welcome back to Nuestra Voz Today. Over the course of the baseball season, the Los Angeles Times is presenting Fernando Mania at 40, a video series that relives Fernando Valenzuela's incredible rookie season. LA Times columnist Gustavo Arellano gives us a look at Valenzuela's humble beginnings, his desire to succeed as a professional ball player, and his remarkable debut with the Dodgers in late 1980.
Fernando Valenzuela was born in 1960 in the small town of Echohuaquila, Sonora, Mexico. He was the youngest of 12 children and inherited a love of baseball from his father, Avelino, a farmer.
In Mexico, they play a lot of baseball, you know, and my brothers older than me, they play ball. So that's the reason, you know, I'm follow this game.
His background was so crazy. You know, he was born and raised in a little town where his family had a little hut, basically a dirt floor, but it was just so improbable. Here's this kid from nowhere who became a superstar overnight. It was just such a crazy, insane story.
Dirt. It's dirt. You see dirt, and more dirt. When he came in, the whole population was like 250.
Valenzuela turned pro in 1977, pitching for teams in the Mexican Central League and Mexican Baseball League.
We used to travel down to play the Norte Sonora, Douglas, Arizona, Agua Prieta, which is the other side of the border, Tecate, Yuma, San Luis. Fernando was pitching down there in those leagues.
So almost 16 years old, that's when I signed my first professional contract. And from that point, I told myself, well, now it's a career. It's not just for fun.
The Dodger scout in Mexico was Mike Brito. Everyone knew Mike Brito. You know who Mike Brito is if you're a Dodgers fan. He's a guy who always stands behind home plate with the big hat, the radar gun, and the cigar.
I was a lucky day. In 1978, I went to Silao, Guanajuato, Mexico, to see a shortstop named Ali Uscanga. But the fifth inning, they make a change and bring Fernando to pitch. Fernando was amazing. He never showed any afraid when he was on the mound.
He never got rattled at anything, even in life.
Fernando pitched like nobody believed he was 17. They all think Fernando was older than that.
I thought it would be fun and interesting to go to Mexico. I'd read about the Mexican League, and I thought, why don't I go down there and do some stories? So I went to the ballpark in Mexico City. I was waiting outside for a pass or a ticket or whatever, and I saw a guy, and somehow we started a conversation. It turned out to be Mike Brito. And we started talking, and he told me that he worked for the Dodgers, and he was telling me all about this guy, Fernando. He said, you got to see this guy. He's amazing. He throws curveballs, and Mexico City is mile high. It's like Denver, thin air, so it's not a curveball city. But Fernando could snap off curveballs in the thin air of Mexico City. So Brito was really fired up about this kid.
The cost to purchase Valenzuela's contract was $120,000. That was a fairly substantial price for a Mexican ball player in 1979.
Fernando was happy we were going to sign him. He agreed. Sure, he was happy. Everybody want to play for the Dodgers.
Mike Brito had talked about it a lot, that someday we're going to have a great player from Mexico. Mike's enthusiasm, and Mike's a very enthusiastic guy. His enthusiasm made an impression on all of us in the organization that we must do everything possible to sign Fernando.
Yeah, that was 79 when I was got signed by the Dodgers, and then really Mike Brito, he's the one make the contact with my team in Mexico, and they decide, you know, to send me to to minor leagues with the Dodgers, and so make me happy, you know, to be part of the one big league organization.
Soon after Brito signed Valenzuela, he was assigned to the team's High A affiliate in Lodi, California. Late in the season, Dodgers general manager Al Campanis sent the scout to assess the pitcher's progress.
He got a good curveball. He didn't have the screwball yet. So Al Campanis told me, well, make a report what you saw and bring it to me. So I make a report, and my report said that fastball didn't improve. So Al Campanis, Chief, I think Fernando gonna need another pitch to survive in the big league because the fastball didn't improve. Like what? Campanis said. I said, maybe a split finger or maybe the screwball. I think if he come out with another pitch, he's gonna be a good winning pitcher in the big league.
79, that's when I went to a Switzerland League in Arizona. That's when Bobby Castillo was over there and helped me out how to grip the ball for the just a little turn and screwball. What they tell me is going to be easy for you because it's natural for left-handers, the ball move away from the right-handed hitters. So if you give it some little rotation, I think that's going to be more effective.
And I remember I asked Bob, I said, Bob, what do you think of Fernando? He said, man, I'm surprised. I said, why? He said, I'm surprised because Fernando picked it up right away. He was not afraid to apply and use it because that's the only way to know, to find out if the screwball are working, if Fernando make it work for him, and he got a lot of success as a pitcher.
I remember writing that he learned it in about the 10 minutes it took Bobby Castillo to show it to him. So he had no trouble picking it up. Now, no, it's not anything that anybody else throws because it is hard to throw. But he did, and it was great.
That screwball wasn't just that important itself. It's also because it set up all of his other pitches as they all came out from his arm angle and arm speed, all looking the same.
Having quickly mastered the screwball, Valenzuela made an immediate impression in his first spring training with the Dodgers in 1980.
I saw him in spring training in 1980 when I got a gift trip to Vero Beach for my 15th birthday. And I was so impressed with his control because the Dodgers had these strings lined up in their bullpen, have that strike zone, defined. And you can see Fernando just in that zone all the time. And his delivery was so cool, looking up in the sky and with a high leg kick. But he was also kind of playful because he's such a great athlete that he made it look like, I'm just playing catch and throwing strikes.
The homesick pitcher was having a tougher time connecting with his future teammates, though.
He was very close to his father, to his whole family in Mexico. And he really missed his family. When we first came to spring training, he was really shy, really timid, And I remember one day I saw Fernando, he was so lonely, homesick. And after practice, I said about 3 o'clock, after he finished work, my wife's supposed to arrive in Miami with 2 of my kids. That was a spring break. And I said, Fernando, how about I go out for a ride? And Fernando went down with me to Miami to meet my family because I want to keep him company, And I want him to feel good, to feel like home, and for him to express himself about how he was feeling about being in spring training for the first time.
Valenzuela spent most of the 1980 season at Double-A San Antonio, leading the Texas League in strikeouts. He earned a call-up to the Dodgers when rosters expanded in September 1980.
Be honest with you, I want to stay in San Antonio because we're in the playoff. We're looking for one more win to be a champion in the Texas League. And I don't say selfish, but personally, I say, well, this is my chance to be in a big league, so why not go on with a big team?
There was definitely some buzz about Fernando when he made his first quick appearance with the Dodgers.
He pitched in a couple of games. In fact, he did quite well and opened some eyes about the possibilities for next season. No one was really expecting him to come on the scene, to blast on the scene the way he did. I didn't see a whole lot as far as velocity, which is what a lot of people measured back then. In this particular case, it was deception. And hitters must have had a tough time seeing him because he made it look awfully easy.
Dusty Baker, Rick Monday, Yeager, they don't move me to the side. They say, hey, you part of the team, you with us. So that's giving you a lot of confidence.
It wasn't all that big at the time, but it was the next year that everything, really just exploded.
To learn more about Valenzuela's legacy and to watch new installments of Fernando Mania at 40, make sure to log on to latimes.com/FernandoMania throughout the baseball season.
Coming up, we have our own Fernando Mania in San Diego. We're talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. He can hit, he can field, and he can run. He is the total package. See how he's bringing big smiles to Padres fans of all ages. Nuestra Voz Today will be right back.
The search to solve our most pressing issues. How to endure, and how to be redeemed. The world is watching California, because California fights back, remembers where we're from, and defies those in our way. Los Angeles Times, the state of what's next.
Follow the Padres, you know Fernando Tatis Jr. is a remarkable athlete. The 22-year-old Padres shortstop is apparently also a very nice guy.
The Union-Tribune's Annie Heilbrunn spoke with an 11-year-old fan who gave Tatis Jr. a picture she drew of him. Hear why she says that moment was so meaningful.
Fernando Tatis Jr. for me is just like, it's just a hope to the Padres, like, especially since we've never won a World Series. Like, it's just like, oh my God, like this is like actually like this could be it, and it's also new light, kind of like a spark, like this could be a guy that could be in the Hall of Fame. This could be a guy that like turned out to be one of the greatest players ever. And it's crazy how I'm like I could like watch him, like I'm growing up with him, and I'll grow up with him in like a Padres uniform, not in another uniform. He is my favorite player. Like I just find him like very exciting, like he brings like a good vibe to the game, like very positive, and then like he's always smiling out there. So it's like even like if we're losing, then like it's still like, oh, like he's like smiling and he's like cheering or like he's clapping or something. Like it's just really like a good vibe. I'm really into baseball just in general. Like I play softball, but I also really am into the MLB. Like I follow a lot of the players, like their careers and stuff. Knowing that I can like be able to see him on TV, be able to go to the Padre games and see him in person for like growing up like that, because I know that my parents grew up with like Tony Gwynn, and like it's just exciting because I'm gonna be able to like tell my kids or my grandkids like I saw him on TV or I saw him in person, or like I like that was the person I grew up with.
What was it like when you gave your drawing to him?
Like I couldn't even talk. Like I was like speechless, because when I was able to give it to him, like I was like literally shaking, and like he was like, oh my God, this is so cool, like thank you. And so I was like, I thought it was so cool because it was like my idol is like liking the thing that I just gave him. So it was like really cool, and like I was like in shock. I was like shaking. I'm like I couldn't even like no words were coming out of my mouth.
Where does that rank in cool moments in your life?
I think that would be number one. Like that's never happened to me before, where I've like not been able to talk or something. When he talked to me, it just made me feel like special. Like even though like I'm one of like billion people in this world, like in that moment I felt like I was like the only person in the world. Like I was like the only person that existed. Honestly, for me, it just says like that he's like really humble, like and like really like cool, because a lot of the players, when they're like already like really big names or like they're already really popular or something, they won't sign, or they'll kind of be like, oh no, I can't right now. But he like took the time. He's just the best player ever.
You gotta love Alana's excitement. She knows a lot about baseball. I think she may have a career in sports broadcasting.
Maybe she does. Don't miss any of this action this season. Sign up for our daily Padres newsletter at SanDiegoUnionTribune.com/newsletters.
All this talk of sports is making me hungry. Still ahead, where you can find huge, delicious, mouth-watering northern Mexico-style burritos. Nuestra Voz Today will be right back.
I am passionate about helping families.
When COVID-19 reached San Diego, we knew that this was going to impact our community very deeply, and so we went to work right away. We've done at least 2 distributions of essential supplies every single month. We have provided rent relief, flexible financial assistance. We've done distributions of diapers. We've done distributions of COVID-19 kits and PPE. During a time where our community was struggling and really needed support, I was really grateful for the assistance and the partnership of the San Diego Union-Tribune. Not only did they help us to raise funds to be able to better serve our community, they reached out and offered to be a partner and really asked, how can we help? And we were able, in a matter of 6 months, to be able to distribute more than 20,000 COVID-19 safety kits. I'm grateful to live in a community that has been so responsive and so supportive.
If you like burritos, you're going to love this next segment. Food columnist Lucas Juan Peterson takes us to the Sobaquera from El Ruso in Boyle Heights, where they serve a tasty traditional Sonoran-style treat wrapped up in an oversized flour tortilla.
It looks absolutely delicious. The birria, the salsa, the handmade tortilla de harina. It reminds me of the tortillas my grandmother used to make for us when we were kids. See more for yourself.
Really quick, you got... Do I have stuff all over my face? My name is Lucas Juan Peterson. I'm a columnist for the food section, and welcome to another episode of What We're Into. I am particularly into these sobaqueras from El Ruso in the southeast corner of Boyle Heights.
Aquí comencé hace, creo que voy para 5 años. Me lastimé la espalda y mi trabajo ya no lo podía hacer. Y dije, ¿qué hago? ¿Qué hago? Dije, pues voy a vender tacos. Pues la sobaquera prácticamente es un burrito, pero de estilo Sonora. De hecho, yo cuando en Sonora que dije, no, sobaquera, pues le tenía un poquito de, por el nombre, pero yo creo que por eso, porque se las llegan hasta aquí cuando las extienden. Esa tortilla prácticamente no lleva manteca, es pura agua. Y es bien dificultoso para hacerla con las puras manos, pero su sabor es diferente. Cuando prueba la del taco y prueba la de sobaquera, su sabor es completamente diferente. Le ponemos el queso y se pone la tortilla arriba que se dore. Se levanta, le ponemos la carne que quiera. Chile colorado es carne deshebrada, chile California seco. Lo molemos, lo colamos, cocemos la carne y es todo. Después ya nomás echamos el chile sobre la carne deshebrada hasta que se cocina y ya. Nosotros ponemos a un lado, ponemos las verduras, el guacamole y la salsa. El aguacate, si tú vas a cualquier taquería en Sonora, allá le dicen aguamole. Y así es el estilo.
The sobaquera, as explained by the owner Walter Soto, is essentially a Sonoran burrito. So the sobaqueras are huge flour tortillas that are rolled super thin and are filled with different meats of your choice. And in this case, I got the chile colorado, the word I can't say, chile colorado, colorado. All the meats are cooked overnight, so they're really flavorful, deeply marinated, and it's essentially anything you could possibly want in a food. It's compact and handheld, and it looks delicious. That was really good. This is El Ruso. This is the sobaquera. It's available anytime. It's great.
So Luis, have you had one of these sobaquera burritos?
You know, I think I've had some version of it, but just to make sure, I think I want to drive to Boyle Heights and try it out.
To read more about the sobaquera from El Ruso or for more videos from the What We Are Into food video series, visit the LA Times food section at latimes.com/food.
And before we go, we want to invite you to check out our comprehensive coverage of our Latino community in LA, San Diego, and Baja California.
Just go to latimes.com/Latino-life or San Diego Union-Tribune.com/Latino-life.
That does it for this edition of Nuestra Voz Today. Thank you so much for watching.
Hasta la próxima.